Good news, everybody! Nicola Sturgeon and her SNP minions have been forced to concede defeat on the idea of Scottish referendum, well, specifically using the £20 million worth of the funding for the campaign. Oh well, Christmas is officially here. Now that we know that Nicola Sturgeon is losing the battle, and I can assure you, if this trend continues, the way things are going in Scotland for the Scottish government, and the Scottish Labour are coming back up, and the latest opinion polls in Scotland also show that Reform UK are doing well. They're only slightly behind the Tories. So we could actually have a situation where the Scottish Labour Party could do well in Scotland, and considering that Nicola Sturgeon has had a few defeats recently, she would resign. She should resign by the end of the next election. Now, the latest update we now have is that the £20 million of the funding for the independence referendum has now been ditched by the SNP Green government in order to allow John Swinney to make full use of the budget on, the actual priorities of the Scottish electorate and taxpayers. £20 million was going to be wasted on their own agenda that only, let's just say realistically, is a 50-50 situation. Half the population in Scotland versus the other half. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but it's basically a split in the middle. Now, £20 million was going to be used on that issue. In reality, they should be focusing on the priorities. Now, let's see if they actually are focusing on the priorities. Because now they're being urged to set up a new fund to help women with costs of fleeing abuse. So they didn't have any funding for this, for example. They haven't had any funding for various areas. But let's just double check. The latest headlines, the latest news stories coming from Scotland and the Scottish government. Are they focusing on the priorities, guys? Do you think? Well, no. Because Nicola Sturgeon is still busy fighting against J.K. Rowling. I mean, what? Why is this even a thing? Leave her alone. Let her say what she wants. Get on with your job. It's not rocket science. Your job as First Minister is not supposed to be the Queen of Woke. It's supposed to be as a senior minister on behalf of the British state to actually help the people of Scotland. Now, we know that the devolution project has not worked, but is she actually doing anything about it? Well, no, because half the time she's fighting with J.K. Rowling. And now the rest of it is coming up with more populist policies, left-wing populist policies, because she thinks that's going to work. Nicola Sturgeon forces landlords and second home owners to pay thousands more in tax. Now, the reason I say this is short-term genius is because it's left-wing populism. There will be a lot of people who on the surface would say, ooh, actually, that's a good headline. That's a good policy. Let's do it. We don't like greed. We have to bring down the landlords. Well, in reality, that's simply shifting the blame for her own failure as the policymaker for housing. That's simply because she and also the rest of the Westminster cabal as well, the Labour Party, the Tory Party, the Greens, the Lib Dems, all of them, and the SNP, Plaid Cymru, the Welsh Labour Party, all of them, they haven't had a coherent policy on housing or on tenancies, let alone, obviously, in terms of the homeowners or landlords. So they simply come up with all these wishy-washy, left-wing populist ideas to simply trick some people and say, see, we're going after the rich. We're bringing down the top. You are the rich. You are the top. You are the elite. You're simply taking off starting a fake fight again and creating this, the very, very Corbynista style class war, but in reality, you're not doing anything to help Scotland or the rest of the UK. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm Tousi and we are the media.